I'm Mauricio Cardin. I'm with Roofing Marketing Pros. I'm here with Jason Brown from Tri-Coastal Restoration. And Jason has been working with us the last 6 months, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his story, his background, and talk to you about what the results he's gotten with working with us. So Jason, tell me about your story.
Okay, so we started off, I was back in 2000, I was doing cable. I ended up buying the company from the guy that I was working for. That ran for 11 years. We did fantastic. We averaged about 60 guys going out and they were cable guys. We trenched. We also did some trenching, the fiber optics for Verizon through the neighborhoods when Fios came out. So we, I'd been running business for most of my adult life, and then they changed things and they wanted everything to be employee based, and they wanted one company to take care of all Maryland and Delaware and Northern Virginia. And it essentially, all the cable industry just kind of went a different direction. There was no money in it for us, for companies like mine. And I got out of that and started rehabbing houses. Learned a lot about this industry by doing that. Excuse me. I was the dumb end of the 2x4 for a while there, watching everybody do their work. And, but every aspect of building a residential property, I was involved with from the ground up for the most part, or rehabbing and rebuilding, I should say. And then once I learned that, I got into actually selling, and we were doing the one sit close. That was okay. But at the end of the day, once you have owned your own business and worked for yourself for as long as I have, it's very difficult to do anything other than that. So my goal had always been to, own my own business once again in whatever industry it is that I'd have to relearn. So I relearned. I started from scratch in this industry, got, to where to the point to where, I didn't have questions for other people. I became the guy that everybody was coming to ask those questions to. And then, once that and a few other things happened, I knew it was time for me to start, that path down to the entrepreneurship path again. And, my partner, I planted seeds with him for a few years. I knew that he was going to be my canvassing guy. If anything else was out there, that was needed besides canvassing and sales, I was going to take care of it. And he took care of the canvassing. And then he also introduced me to the insurance process in this industry. And once we saw that, and as much damage as there is around nowadays, it just became a no-brainer. And that was, for 3 years now, I think we were like 1.3 million the first year. And then we went to, every year since then, we've been between 3.5 mil and 4 mil. Mm-hmm. But we've been steadily growing. Now, we're still in that time frame. We're still in that frame. And we had COVID. So, and now we have 18 sales guys. So I would expect once everything starts, firing on all cylinders, and we can actually start having meetings again instead of, group texts and all this stuff that COVID makes us go through. And we can really get guys firing on all cylinders. I think, we're going to have a big 2021.
Awesome. That's awesome. What was a big breakthrough you had working with us? I believe that according to Hannah and Justin, you closed 8 jobs last month.
Yeah, like I said, that Hannah's going to be more on that. I'm going to do an overall audit, in a little while, in a couple months. But at the end of the day, yeah, the thing is with insurance, with what you guys provide with the Google, and just bringing in the leads where homeowners, they're not just calling because they need a roof, they're calling because they got damage. They know that they have damage, and that's right in our purview. So when they contact us and we go out there, it's not just that home. We're now being introduced to an entire neighborhood and area that we were not, in most cases, we're not aware that was an area that had all this damage. So it's not just the homeowner that calls and we close that job. We also have untold amounts of jobs in that neighborhood. And it's not uncommon for us to go in and do 2/3 of a neighborhood, just depending on the status of, the type of damage that's out there. If it's a neighborhood that has a bunch of new roofs, they're probably going to be in decent shape unless it was a massive storm. But there's plenty of neighborhoods go out there. There's 20-year-old roofs and they get, an inch and a half hail. Well, that we're right in the right spot. We'll plant our flag, so to speak, or our job sign in that yard. And even the people that don't want us talking to them in the beginning, I tell guys all the time, it's okay. That's the most rewarding voicemail you will ever get, is a month later, after that guy, screamed at you for daring to knock on his door, he calls you back humbly because he sees 7 of your job signs every time he drives home. And he says, gee whiz, shucks, Billy, I know you called and I was kind of rude before, but I'd really like you to come out and take a look because I've seen what you've done with all my neighbors. We love showing those voicemails to new guys and discouraged guys that have a hard time canvassing or think that, they're not cut out for it because somebody said something mean to them or something. It comes full circle. And those are, again, those are one of the most rewarding ones. And those are usually people that end up giving you referrals too, because they have that little pit in the bottom of their stomach because they know they kind of treated you rudely in the beginning. And now here you are, giving them something that's a lot of people think are too good to be true.
That's awesome. And who would you recommend this for?
Like a type of contractor?
Yeah.
Anybody that understands. You guys were up front with us in the beginning. You said, look, it's not flipping a switch. You're not going to show up and, we're not going to put you on Google and you're just going to have to open up extra phone lines. It doesn't happen like that. You got to give it some time. You have to we had to let you guys do your thing. You did little tweaks. You're always monitoring it. You look at it and you say, okay, well, we're getting this results. We think we can do better. So we're going to fine tune some things. And that's not my expertise. That's why it was nice to lean on you guys. And it was one of the reasons that I went to you guys as opposed to just Home Advisor and Angie's List and all these other things. I like that. Yes, you're marketing, but you're roofing marketing. You're not, hey, we'll get you leads. What is it that you do? Okay, you're an HVAC guy. Great. We'll get you HVAC leads. You guys are marketing for roofing. So all the little tweaks and fine tuning things that you need to do. All the stuff that, it's not even worth me going into because I would just chew it up. You guys knew what to do. You told me what to expect. And proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, Jason, anything else you want to add?
No, I guess the big thing is, there's got to be a trust factor, because you are locking in for a period of time. I wasn't in the beginning. I was like, hey, I really don't like signing a 6-month lease, or a 6-month contract, especially when you're telling me that I shouldn't expect any results for 3 months. That's not exactly what you guys said, but that's kind of how I took it, being skeptical. And I got to say, here we are a little over 6 months past it. And, it was definitely worth doing. And like I said, I haven't done the overall audit yet on what we've actually brought in, but I just know from the phone calls and talking to the project managers and seeing what type of neighborhoods we've been put in and job scopes and things that the numbers aren't even going to be close. It's definitely paid for itself, I think.
And I believe you have a job that's over 80,000 as opposed to close, right?
Well, it's 80,000 now, but he just asked about shingles that we're going to have to add another, as soon as we showed him the 80,000, he said, okay, well, I'm curious about this shingle. And it was the Certainty, I forget, it was a really high end. I forget which one it was exactly, but it was, it's another $2 a foot that we're going to add on top of that project. And this was not a restoration. He called because he needs a roof, and he also needs all copper, all of his flashing, all of his gutters, that's all copper. And you know how copper is. But he called just planning on paying for everything, out of pocket. Our project manager still, figured he owed it to him to at least get up there and take a look, because he saw he ran the report and he saw that there were big storms that were in that area. And, you know, this is a homeowner who has significant damage, and he's got, I mean, it'll probably be $100,000 project at this point, and he's still not even sure if he really feels like, you know, making an insurance claim. You know,
Yeah.
that's the kind of people you run into in this demographic. I mean, there's, you know, the bedroom of DC, there's a lot of money up there. You know, those are some high end zip codes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, we would not know about that guy had he not reacted to your Google ad for us.
Hey, Jason, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. I think